Good morning. It is a good morning. It always is. I awoke. This is self-expression. Do I need to say that anymore? It's all self-expression. Everything. Of course, I never needed to say it. I just say it. Everything that ever is self-expression. So what the fuck? I awoke. Torn between two states. Joy, satisfaction, peace, gratitude, delight, and this gut punch of anxiety. And I do think that there's something more to the anxiety in terms of that's been in the collective, that's all over the place, that's stuff that's being triggered in me, there's old stuck energy that's coming loose, all of that kind of thing. Thank you. But it got me on this topic of guilt, which is something that has been rattling around for a couple of days, and I've wanted to express about it because I really am experimenting with this idea, which I find quite powerful and evocative, and which is certainly something that in me resonates and has created a shift in a lot of my thinking and what I'm noticing about my thinking. And that's this idea of what happens if we give up guilt. What happens if we just lay down the weapon of guilt? Because it is a weapon. It is, first of all, not something that the soul feels. The soul never feels guilty. It never feels bad for anything, ever. Soul doesn't feel bad because it knows how this works. It knows, first of all, what's going on here. It knows that everybody is safe. Everything is stable and secure. None of this is so serious as we make it out to be, as it appears to be. There's no death. There's no harm in anything, no matter what it looks like. The soul knows that. It has the bigger picture. It has all of the information that the rest of the self, extended all the way here, has to just take on faith and trust. But that faith is not an idea. Faith is felt. Faith is experienced. It's not conceptual. I mean, there are times when we find ourselves in a place of extreme doubt and uncertainty. But the reason faith stands for us, faith is something that we can find, is because there's that place of knowing within. It's more than hope. It's a knowing. That's the soul beaming, standing there saying, it's more than you think it is. It's better than you think it is. It's gonna work out. It is all working out for the right reasons, for the reasons that you want. I know it looks a different way. I know maybe it feels a different way, but I'm telling you, it's all good. It's so good. That's that feeling that we get when we are racked in doubt and fear and questioning everything. We're deep in grief or anger or depression or all of the above, more likely. We feel lost and confused and overwhelmed, but there's that tiny light. There's just that thing inside that says, it's okay. Keep going. It's okay to feel all of this. Nothing's gone wrong. It's okay to feel like everything's gone wrong. Nothing's gone wrong. Just be. Just keep being. Just that. It's all taken care of. That's what faith is. That feeling. And so it's not an idea. It's an experience. It is being in that situation, in that place when you are feeling totally adrift. Just a life raft on the ocean with waves crashing over you. And you're just floating in it and saying, I give up. I don't know. I have no control. But something in me says, just Just breathe. Stay here. That's it. So I don't know why I got off on that tangent, but it felt important. Because the soul is always communicating to us. Always, always, always. But what it never communicates through is guilt. That is not the soul. The soul doesn't feel guilty. It doesn't feel bad, because guilt ultimately is fear. Again, it all stems back to fear. Why do I feel bad? Because I'm afraid of what somebody else thinks of me. Because I'm afraid of somebody else's emotional experience. That's it. And guilt is actually within me, causing me to try to manipulate that person. If something happens, if I behave in a way, whatever type of way, and it elicits an emotional response from someone else that appears to be negative, right? This person, by all appearances, is upset with me, that I have made them mad. I have made them feel betrayed or taken advantage of. I have made them feel a certain way. That's the appearance of it. And now I feel guilty, and because of the guilt, I change my behavior. I double back on something that was just me, something that the soul didn't feel bad about. Even if it was ego-driven, the soul doesn't feel bad about that. There's no guilt there. The guilt is more ego, if that's the case. But I really believe the majority of the time, all of the time, it's not a thing to feel bad about. All of the time, it's just expression. We express something, even if there was a reaction in pain where something was said, that was energy that needed to express. If I said something that was perhaps mean, the reason that happened is because I never accepted anger within me, because I let it build up, because in the moment that I felt upset about something in the past, rather than owning that as my experience and allowing it expression, rather than relieving this other individual, whoever it was, because now we're just trading, you see. If somebody did something that I perceive as upsetting me, and now I'm mad, and I'm experiencing it as being mad at them, instead of just being mad, instead of just feeling mad and acknowledging, oh, there's something here. I feel emotion around this. I feel emotion. Now is my chance to honor my emotional experience in this moment and allow it some expression. And it's not directed at you. My soul's not mad at you. I know that. There's something being triggered here, and that's okay. And instead of denying it, instead of denying that the trigger has happened, instead of denying myself this emotional experience and saying, no, I'm not mad. No, it's fine. It's fine. You're fine. You see how that just packs it in? And then of course it's going to burst forth at some later point, because that stuck energy is just getting reamed in there, and underneath there's this whole pipeline trying to break things loose, and it's going to break loose at some point. And this is how the pattern continues. Maybe what I was upset about is someone said something to me that appeared to be lashing out, that they whatever. It's about having the awareness in the moment to see that is a projection of their pain, and not being mad about it, not being mad at them about it. Seeing that's a projection, and you don't have to take on that projection. Honoring their emotional experience entirely for what it is, and saying, you're allowed to feel that way. You're allowed to express that way. You're allowed to say things to me. Because I know what you're really saying is those things to yourself, or to the person in the past who you feel inflicted some wound upon you. There's so much more here than just a snide comment or a rude remark, or even an explosive one. There's so much more here. That's not even really directed at me. And so I'm going to have the awareness in the moment to realize that, but also to honor whatever reaction is happening inside. because there's going to be something. Because ego's still going to hear that and feel that and go, ooh, ouchie. And I'm going to allow that. I'm not going to pretend it's not there. But I'm not going to make you responsible for it. I'm going to take that as my responsibility to just hold space for this emotion and to let it be felt and to let it be expressed. And you know what? I'm going to express it and not care what you think. I'm going to not care how you feel about it. I'm going to, again, allow you to have your experience. And if there is something upsetting to you in my expression, that's okay. I'm not going to feel bad about it. I'm not going to let guilt, because then the guilt is going to make me try to manipulate you out of your emotional experience when it needs to be what it is. Guilt is just a method of manipulation that we have internalized and weaponized against ourselves and against each other. It has no other purpose. No other purpose. So what happens if we stop doing anything because we feel bad? If we let go of feeling bad about it as the reason for anything, and it's not about the thing that you do, it's about why you're doing it emotionally. So maybe you still do the thing, but you don't do it because you feel bad. You let go of that and you find another way. You align in your perspective and say, what is it that I want? What is it that I want to do? And you got to get real honest about it because it can feel like wanting to do something when you are actually afraid of not doing that thing. That's how the mind works. That's how guilt works. It makes you feel like, oh, I want this person not to be mad at me. No, that's not actually what you want. What you feel at that moment is, I'm afraid of what happens when this person is mad at me or says that they're mad at me. I am afraid of what happened. What does that mean? What are the consequences of that? How does that threaten my stability, physically, emotionally? It's stepping out of that place and saying, this person's allowed their experience and it doesn't change mine. It doesn't threaten mine. So I'm not going to change myself, my behavior. I'm not going to let guilt be the reason, because that's just furthering the manipulation. That's just more manipulation. I want what I want, and I refuse to feel bad about it. How about that? I want what I want. My wanting is righteous and sacred and right, and it doesn't hurt anybody. Not only am I safe in my wanting, everybody is. So I am not going to take on the projection of anyone else or my own internalized version of that voice that says you should feel bad, or you are bad, or you shouldn't do that, or you should do this. I refuse. I'm not taking that on. I'm not picking up the guilt stick anymore. I'm not going to beat myself with it, and I'm not going to use it against anyone else. What that means also is, because this is about giving up the control of people's behavior. If you are no longer allowing yourself to be made to feel bad, which you can't be made to feel bad. Again, it's an internal mechanism. We've internalized that voice. There's just a stream of thoughts. There's the guilty conscience, which is an identity. The story, the idea of the guilty self. That's not you. That's not the soul. That's not how that works. All of this conscience bullshit is so backwards. It's backwards. That's all devil energy. Devil energy made up the idea of conscience. I'm serious. Is it making you feel guilty? Is that a dangerous idea right now? Oh no, I don't have a conscience? No, you don't. You have a soul. You are a soul. And the soul is guiding you always. And that soul is happy. That soul is loving. That soul knows and wants only everything for the highest good, for the well-being of yourself and all. Because see, the soul knows the truth, which is that the highest good is your good. It is not some ethical, moral dilemma where we change the tracks and less people die or more important people stay alive. That's not how the universe operates. That's a bunch of bullshit. The soul is operating for the highest good, and the highest good includes everyone, especially importantly, you. It is not the highest good if everybody isn't benefiting. Everybody. It's not the highest good if everybody isn't getting what they want. Do you understand? Because everything is infinite. Resources are infinite. All of them. As abundant as air. Can we breathe all of the air? Forget the shit about global warming and the ozone layer and air pollution. Okay, I'm not talking about that. Air. Can we consume all of the oxygen? The way that nature works, we have trees, we have plants, we have animals. One of which is people. And it works together to show there's not an end to the things that we need and use and require to function on a daily basis. All of that is given to us. Everything that we need to survive is given to us freely. And everything that we want is given to us freely. It's all fucking infinite. Time, money, space, love, experiences, all of it. That's what the soul knows. So it's not worried. It's not feeling bad. It's bouncing around, bopping around, having a grand time on this joyful journey through unlimited experience, knowing that it is taken care of. That everything it wants because it belongs to it. In the moment of its wanting, this is what drives creation. It has a desire. By that desire, the fulfillment of it is created. It's born. It is born into reality. True reality. It exists. True reality is higher. It's vibrational. We tend to think of it as less real because we can't see it. It's more real. It is the reality that informs this level of it. It's where all of it's coming from. The moment you desire something, that thing is created, and it is created by you with your energy, with your abundant, infinite resources. It belongs to you. You can't take anything from anyone else. You can't impede anyone else's creation or receiving. It is not possible, and they can't impede yours. So what the fuck is there to feel bad about? Nothing. No one can harm you. You cannot harm another. That is not the way that this works. It's just not. And the soul knows that. So it's time to give up guilt. Because guilt is not useful. It's a part of the illusion. It's a part of old backwards paradigms based on a fundamental misunderstanding of what reality is, what we're doing here, and how all of it functions. It's backwards, which is why it feels so terrible, by the way, because everything in it is against the grain of the universe. That's what that sensation is, that kind of electrocution zap through your stomach. That is the energy running against itself. And the whole of the universe going, that ain't it, Chief. That ain't it. That's not what we got going on here. We don't know anything about that. That is not supported by the soul, not supported by the universe. And your uncomfortable sensation in feeling it is us saying that to you. Nope, we're not on board with that. We don't agree with that. That's not the way we see it, and we see everything the way that it actually is. So you might want to take that information and apply it. What happens if we give up feeling bad? I'm going to read some of these questions because all of this is inspired by it, and it's an idea that I have batted around for a long time. Don't do anything based on fear. This is the same concept, but I like the discussion of guilt specifically as the specific sort of version of fear. This is a fascinating book. This is just from a section about working with guilt and introducing an inquiry into your actions. When you feel guilt, does this feeling of guilt come from a sense of wanting to control the situation? By feeling guilty, do I think I'll somehow change the situation or at least get the approval of others? Are you trying to change the situation? Are you trying to return to this safe feeling place where now other people aren't thinking nasty thoughts about you or have their arms crossed and are huffing and puffing in front of you instead of allowing them their emotional experience and refusing to take on this projected idea that you are the cause of their emotions, because you're not. I refuse to accept responsibility for your emotions, and I refuse to make you responsible for mine. That means I'm no longer gonna expect you to change your behavior. If there is something upsetting, it's not about you. If I find something upsetting about you or the way that you're being, it ain't about you. That's something in me for me to look at, for me to experience, for me to express. It has nothing to do with you. My perception of your bad behavior has nothing to do with you. So I'm not going to ask you to change it because it's not bad in the first place. It's allowed. It's right. In fact, you're giving me a gift. If there's something about you or the way that you're being that I find upsetting, that's a trigger in me. That triggered me. Now I get to look at that. First of all and foremost, I get to just let that energy escape. You pressed a trigger point. That released energy. That energy is coming through as emotion. I'm going to let it. I'm going to let it, and I'm going to do it in awareness that this is not directed at you. This is not because of you. This is just my experience in the moment, and it's allowed to be. It's allowed to be exactly what it is, and it doesn't have to mean anything. It's just emotion. It's just energy, and I'm going to let it flow. And I'm not going to say that it's your fault. I'm not going to make you responsible for it. I'm not going to try to change your behavior. I am going to appreciate what's happening within me and let it happen and realize it's not a bad thing. Am I willing to stop trying to use this feeling of guilt to get a sense of control? Am I willing to stop trying to use this feeling of guilt to manipulate others into approving of me? Because that's what it always is. The feeling of guilt is used to manipulate, to get others to change their behavior to make you feel safe, instead of stepping into your knowledge of safety, stepping into the knowledge of your well-being. Using that as an opportunity, because it's a test. It's testing you. It's testing you with this other viewpoint, with this contradictory energy, with this other thought that is trying to foist itself upon you to influence you. And instead of being influenced by it, you have the consciousness to recognize what's going on and not accept the influence, to be so steadfast in your knowing what you know that you are uninterrupted in that knowledge maybe for a brief moment, but then you feel it and go, this helps me know yet more what I don't believe because of the way this feels. Don't believe this. This feels off, feels icky by this electrical jolt sensation in my stomach that makes me go, gah, gah. That's how I know. That's guidance. That is my guidance system online. Thank you, guidance system, for showing me exactly what it is that I don't believe so that I know what it is I do. And I know I can just put this thought down, whatever this guilty feeling thought was of I should or I shouldn't or it's wrong. I can put that down. I can not accept. I can choose not to accept the influence of that thought. Would it be okay if the ability to use guilt to get approval or control just left me? What if I just no longer had that ability? What if I just let go of guilt entirely? I no longer used it to control anything. What would it be like to live my life without ever using the feeling of guilt? I think that's a very important question. I think it's a very helpful question. I think it's an empowering one. What happens if we let go of guilt? We're no longer able to manipulate each other, is what happens. We are no longer able to control one another's behavior. And to the ego, of course, that's terrifying because the ego perceives threat in all things and says, if I'm not controlling your behavior, I'm in danger. So it's the practice of realizing that that's simply not true. That is simply untrue. Does that thought feel good? If I can't control you, I am unstable, I am in threat. Does that feel good? Can you feel in the pit of your stomach how there's this kind of gurgling, seizing? How you get that mild kind of sicky, icky in your tummy kind of feeling? That's a thought that doesn't feel good. That is your guidance system saying it's been weighed and it's been found false. We spit it out. We spit it out. That is your soul saying, nope, that ain't it. That's how it works. Now you know. That's not a thought that is in alignment with truth, with actuality, with what you actually believe. That's not a thought that you believe. It's not. Maybe there's some idea of you in there that says you believe it. That's not actually you. Again, that's just a made up version that had your identification. For a while, you can just take that back. You just withdraw that and go, oh, I wasn't paying attention. I wasn't paying attention to these thoughts that I was aligning myself with. I didn't realize how many thoughts that I don't believe I was just allowing to bang around in there. I was allowing to become a part of my experience and my identity. They're not actually me. I don't actually believe those things. And I know it because when I think them, it hurts. That means I don't believe them because they ain't true. That's it. Your beliefs color your perception. Your perception creates your reality. So start with belief. It's time to give up guilt as a reason for anything. Anything at all. And again, the way that this changes behavior may appear very subtle, because it is subtle, because we're doing the subtle work. We're doing the inner work of alignment with the self. So maybe it is that something was said and somebody's emotional response is upset, and you feel the pang of that guilt, and you recognize, I have options here. I'm not going to take action based on the guilt. I'm going to walk myself first into the place of feeling safe and allowing this experience to be what it is, allowing this other person to have their emotional experience, allowing myself to have mine, recognizing there's nothing in jeopardy here. There's no threat, there's no contradiction, there's no conflict. Actually, there is no conflict. All of this is fine. All of this is allowed. It's all hunky-dory. Everything's good here. So now from my place of feeling safety, my awareness of my own stability and safety, my awareness of this other individual's stability and safety, the security and the well-being of all. Now from here, where do I want to flow? What feels good? Maybe what feels good to me, maybe the guilty thing made me want to go, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. Let me do anything I can. Let me bend over backwards to change your experience. Now I'm no longer in that place. I don't want to change your experience. I want your experience to be what it is. But maybe I recognize I have a desire to say that to you. I have a desire to say, hey, I had a reaction and I expressed it. And maybe I did some things that implied that you were responsible. And whether or not you feel responsible, because you're allowed to feel however you feel, I have a desire to express that you were not responsible for my emotional experience. I am taking ownership of that. Whatever that means to you doesn't matter. I am allowing you your emotional experience, and however you feel is right. Whatever you feel, whether you think it's about me or something else, it's allowed. I accept it. I appreciate it. I know you don't need my approval. I'm doing this for me. I'm saying this for me. There's nothing I'm trying to change here. If you want to scream and kick and punch, if you never want to talk to me again, that's okay. You are allowed. You're allowed. But I feel, by my own desire, a wish to express this. You're having an experience. I'm having an experience. No one is in the wrong here. Some things perhaps came out of my mouth that I recognize were the result of triggering. Thank you for triggering that. Thank you for triggering the release of some stuck old emotion in me. Genuinely, I appreciate that. I do. So that's it. I just want to say, I love you. I accept you. I love and accept myself. And whatever anything else is, we're all good here. All of this is good. And then you walk away. Or maybe you realize you don't want to say anything to this person. Maybe you realize, okay, I felt some things, they're feeling some things, and now my desire is to just be done. Maybe I let them have their whole experience and I don't involve myself in it at all. Maybe I go do something else I want to do. Maybe I go take a walk. Maybe I go get something tasty to eat. Maybe I just reach that place of realizing I haven't done anything wrong. They haven't done anything wrong. There's nothing wrong here, so let's just move on. And whatever happens, happens. Maybe I just let them think of me what they think of me. Ooh, scary. Maybe I just let this person think whatever they're going to think about me and feel however they're going to feel and do whatever they're going to do. Maybe I just let that happen and I do nothing to try to change it or stop it or control it in any way. I just keep on living my life knowing that I'm good, I'm well, I'm worthy, I'm blessed, I'm paying attention. I'm feeling that thing inside of me that's reacting, that's revolting against this, going, no, we gotta do something. No, we don't. No, we don't. We don't gotta do anything. Neither do they. They don't have to change. Really, all of this, again, this is just more projection. All of my feeling that this situation needs to change, it's not about them. That is a projection of the way that I have treated my own emotional experience in the past. Saying to myself, oh, this needs to change. This has to be different. This is inappropriate. This is unacceptable. I might think I'm thinking that about them, It's all about me. So look, there's more for me to do here. There's more for me to accept. Awesome. I get to sit in this and say, you don't need to change. Nothing here needs to change. Nothing needs to change. It's okay if it does. It's okay if it doesn't. All of it is allowed. None of it is connected. Change is not connected to anything. It is not connected to love. It's not connected to the truth that you are unconditionally loved and radically worthy right now. Nothing needs to change for me to accept myself. Nothing needs to change for me to know that I am accepted, that I'm safe. I am safe. I'm loved. I'm well. I'm worthy. I am appreciated. That's everything the soul is saying to me. It's saying, you're good, boo. You are so good. Right now, exactly as you are. I can use all of this, take all of this, and turn my focus into accepting this moment. Accepting myself. Accepting what I feel. Leave the other person out of it because really they are not involved. It's not about them. It's about what I'm rejecting within myself. So now is my chance to sit and breathe and say, this is okay. This is a-okay. I am allowed to feel this. I'm allowed to be this. Everything that is being, and all of it is my being, is allowed to be. Just the way that it is in this moment. I'm loved. I'm loved in it. I'm loved for being and feeling this. Specifically, personally, consciously. It's not some vague notion of, oh yeah, there's not some other sort of thing going, yeah, you're fine, and it's not really paying attention. That's not, no. Non-physical is feeling, is acutely aware of my individual, personal, specific experience in this moment. It's feeling it. It's with me. Everything is awake and watching, as aware as I am. The same awareness, the same consciousness as I experience it. The same way I experience it. That's how all of non-physical is experiencing me. And this, right now. And it's saying, this is good. You are good. Everything is well. You are loved. We're excited about this. We appreciate this. We value this. This is right to be the way that it is. You don't need to change. None of it needs to change. It can just be. You can just be here and know that you're right. Your being is right. Your feeling is right. It's not in comparison or juxtaposition to anyone or anything else. There's no competing here. You're good. The way that you are in this moment, and everything that you're feeling this moment isn't changing any of that. Isn't changing that truth. That you are loved. You are taken care of. Everything that you desire is yours. That's why you desire it. Your desire is evidence of its fulfillment. We just start introducing these thoughts, this knowledge again. Your desire is evidence of its fulfillment. That's why you feel the wanting for it. You could not feel a desire for something that didn't exist. Do you understand? You couldn't feel that desire if it wasn't already in the works for you. In fact, if you didn't already have it, because you do. That's why you want it. Your desire is your soul saying to you, we got this and it's good. Get happy. Get excited about it. Bask in it because it's yours. And you can't not receive the fully manifested experience of it. You can't avoid it. It is written in the stars for you to have this experience. Whatever it is. You called it into being, and now it's yours, and it's on your path, and there's no missing it. There is no dodging this. It can't miss you. You can't miss it. So you just sit in that place. Keep reminding yourself. Keep soothing yourself back into the place of that desire. See how we're directing all of this flow just back? We're just nudging it back in there, into alignment, into that place of feeling safe, of knowing your safety, knowing your well-being, that I am safe to sit in this. I am safe to feel this. I'm safe to allow this to be what it is. I'm safe to allow myself to be as I am in this moment. And in this moment, that means sitting quietly, doing nothing, just breathing, just being. I'm safe to do that. I'm safe to just sit here and feel. Everything is being aligned for me. Everything is being taken care of. I am provided for perfectly, in absolute abundance. And I'm radically worthy, always, of receiving. I'm the one creating. It's all mine. I create it, I give it, I receive it. There's nobody else involved in this process. It's all me. And I am so worthy and so well cared for that even when I get myself twisted, even when I'm in a thought that's resistant and I'm feeling all tangled up in it, that doesn't stop me from receiving. It doesn't stop me from being worthy of receiving, and it doesn't stop my receiving. It happens anyway. Because you know what? I got another desire, and that desire is right and righteous and is fulfilled. That desire is for the universe to show me evidence of my worthiness everywhere I go. To show me evidence. To keep proving to me, showing to me, yeah, you're good. Yeah, you do deserve this. Yeah, you get this anyway. Yeah, this is what you want. And we're listening because we're always listening because we're you and we're living the same experience with you. We just got the bigger perspective. We just got the rest of it too. And the rest of that is streaming to you all of the time saying, yeah, yes, 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 you're good. You're loved. You get it. You receive. It's all good. We're going to keep giving it to you. We never stop for one moment beaming this to you. We never stop loving you. We never stop flooding goodness and deliciousness and all of your desires over you. We never stop giving because you never stop asking, because that's the way this works. This is what we want. We want this, and we don't let anything stand in the way of our desire. And we appreciate that you do. We appreciate that you get a little twisted up in your perspective. We appreciate that you're experiencing resistance and tension and contrast. Oh my God, the contrast. Thank you for the contrast, because that is juicing up desire for all of us. And that feels so good. The more tension you put yourself in, the better we feel. You should probably know that. The more resistance you bind yourself up in, the better the thing you're resisting feels to us. Yeah, you're just juicing it up so good. And we're going, oh my God, yes, give me more of that. Can you feel that? And you can tap into that. I'm doing it right now. You can tap into that feeling of, oh, that just got better. Oh, that just got more. Oh, it got bigger. Oh, and that's all it ever gets, is more, better, and bigger. That's all you're ever doing, is expanding and increasing the intensity of desire and the spectrum of pleasure for all of non-physical. We could not be anything. We cannot be anything other than pleased in you. Do you get that? It's not possible. We can't be. Everything that you do becomes more pleasure for our experience. It is more pleasing to us. You are increasing the pleasure of all that is. We can't feel anything other than pleasure with you and everything that you're going through, experiencing and wanting. It's all more pleasure. So, get on board with that, man. Get on that train. The Pleasure Express is going and it don't stop. This railway chugs on into infinity. All right? So, just bring yourself back into that place as often as possible, because that's where you really are. That's where the majority of you, the dominant portion of you, resides all of the time, is in bliss, in pleasure. And you always have access to that place. That's you. That's your home. It's right there. You don't have to go anywhere. Nothing has to change. You don't have to do anything. You just step yourself into it. Start thinking those thoughts. Start installing those thoughts. Tell that story. Make that the belief that colors your perception, that creates your reality. Everything I do increases pleasure. Everything I do and everything I experience increases my pleasure in all of my experience. How about that thought? Does that feel good? Oh yeah. Do you feel how it lights? Can you feel there's a different sensation down here now? Right? It's an expanding sensation instead of that contracting one. Pay attention to that. It feels like more energy. Something just opened here. Now there's more stuff flowing. It's just, oh yeah. Can you feel it moving through? That's everything in you going, This is what we're talking about. This is the truth. Everything I do increases my pleasure. Ooh, I'm going to write that down. I like that one very much. So get done with guilt. We don't need that. We never needed it. But that's not serving anybody. It's really not. There's plenty of contrast. There is plenty of contrast. There's plenty of resistance. You don't need that. That's not serving. It's served us to get to this point of realizing that it's not serving us, right? That we don't need that. That doesn't need to be a part of our creation. Guilt, we can just let that go. We can just drop that. We can stop telling that story. We can let guilt be a thing of the past. We tried it on for a while. Maybe it was trendy for a season, and it didn't stick because nobody really liked it, because we realized, oh, this is not useful in any capacity whatsoever. So we're just gonna let that go. We're just gonna leave that one in the closet and let it deteriorate. We're gonna let guilt peter out. We're gonna put that stick down. We're gonna bury it, right? Bury that hatchet and let nature do her thing, because she will reclaim that energy like she does with all energy. Let it be something new. What would guilt be if we let it die and be reborn as something else? What would happen with that energy if we let it go collectively, if we let go of guilt and we let that energy be returned to the source and then become something new? Now, energy is infinite. It's not like source is missing that energy, but it has a chance to pass away and be reborn. It has a chance to evolve. What's the evolved version of guilt look like? The new, the evolution, the sublimed, the transmuted version. I think it probably looks like pride, like genuine soul level confidence in the self of, yeah, you know what? I'm good and you're good. And there's nothing to feel bad about here because nothing is ever wrong. And we can't harm. We can't be harmed. I can't trespass against you. You can't trespass against me. It's not possible. Everything that all of us ever does only increases our pleasure, our well-being, our awareness of those things. We only all get bigger and better and stronger and more secure and more stable and more joyful in our experience. That's it. We're going to use that to fuel this new awareness, these new thoughts, these new beliefs that are creating reality in a new way, this level of reality. And actually, by doing so, we're aligning it with true reality. That's what we're doing here. We are working ourselves into the place of aligning this dimension with that of the highest. That's what ascension is. That's what creation of new earth is. Heaven on earth. We are making heaven, which is the highest reality, which is the true one, which is, it's the only one, by the way. It's not the good place, it's the place. It's the place. It's the only place. It's the real place. It's the place that's informing all of this. And gradually nurturing, encouraging us to see, here's the truth. Here's the truth. You're good, you're loved, you're well, you get everything you want. Find a way to align yourself with that. And we're doing that. And now we are calling this dimension up into alignment with the highest level so that it is an accurate reflection of the truth of existence. So that we are experiencing reality. We are experiencing heaven on earth. You see? That's what we're doing here. That's what we're doing. And we're doing it. We are doing it. We are accomplishing this. This is happening. And it's only going to happen more. It's only going to happen more. Do you see? Do you get it? We've unlocked this. It can't be stopped. So we're done with guilt. We got this. We know what we're doing and we only get better at it. Everything we do gets better. Everything that you love becomes more. Every desire only compounds itself and grows and increases and adds to desire, which itself is delicious. We're learning how to bask in that, which is what we're doing actually all of the time. We're never not. All of that other, anything that's not is just made up mind self. It's not the real self. The self is basking in its desire at all times. Again, pleasure, straight pleasure. You are in bliss every moment. That's what you are. That's the truth of your being. Bliss every second. And I mean bliss. Ecstasy. Why do you think the ecstasy of Saint Therese is depicted the way that it is? Because that's what it is. Because that's what it feels like. It's orgasmically good in every part of you, at every level of your being. All of you is all the time going, That's what's happening. That's the reality that is real and that we are aligning the rest of existence with. Continuous bliss, rapture, joy. It's just different shades of that. Oh, it's so good. Everything is so good. Tap into that place. Acknowledge these other old thoughts and feel the way that they feel and feel how icky they are and say, that means I'm done with that. That means I can put that thought down. Those thoughts that create feelings of guilt or fear or shame or whatever it is, those aren't my thoughts. Actually, they're not. That is evidenced by the way that they feel. That's not what my soul is thinking. And thank you, again, thank you for showing me what's not true. Thank you for showing me what I don't believe so that I can know and stand more powerfully in my place of knowing what actually is. Everything is only increasing my power and my pleasure. That's it. That's all of it. I think I'm going to leave it there because that feels really good. And I am going to bask in this and feel it because I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. Oh. All of the self is feeling it. All of the self is tingling and curling its toes every moment. It's the truth of what is. Let go of guilt. We don't need it. and we don't feel it, actually. Guilt is not a thing that we feel. It's not a part of the soul's experience. It is an illusion created by ego and a story of self that is just made up. That's not actually you. You're not actually feeling that. So recognize when that sensation is there. Oh, this isn't mine. That's why it feels this way, because it's not mine. Boop. Thanks for showing me what's not mine. I return it to you because clearly it doesn't belong here. Thank you for giving me a chance to use my discernment to recognize this, to use my guidance system, which I see is working beautifully, as it always is. Thank you. And to just set that down and stand yet more powerfully. I'm growing in my power from this. I'm growing in my knowledge of self and stability from this exact experience. Thank you. All is well. Everything is working out for me. Everything only benefits me and works to my highest good. Everything just increases my pleasure and my power. That's the way this works. And I know that only more clearly. Thank you. Thank you, powerful, divine, deliberate creator. You are so well. You are so good. And you are so loved. There is so much joy and love here for you. Have the most beautiful day. I love you.